right. Welcome to Smoothcomps Studio. My name is Richard and I am COO of Smoothcomp. And this format is called Smoothcomps Studio. And we try to do this once in a while when we have new features added to the platform. And this is an occasion like this. We added some really nice new features. So I'm going to be here for roughly an hour. If you have a lot of questions, then maybe we might stay longer. But feel free to write your comments. You should be able to write your comments either from YouTube or Facebook. And I would love to have some comments here in the beginning. So just so I know you are here and that you are able to write comments. And then I'll share my screen and then I'll go over some of the new features that we added. So I see a lot of people are joining in now to view this studio format. Happy to see that. As I said, my name is Richard and I'm CEO of Smoothcomp. And I have been doing this since 2015 together with my two partners, Martin Johnson and Martin Varhult. They are actually now working hard before the weekend. We always have very intense Fridays because we have a lot of customers all over the world. This weekend we have the AJP is doing their Grand Slam in London. And a lot of events going on the platform. We do see some results of the coronavirus. So a lot of events has been canceled, of course. Some organizers have decided to cancel their events, and we do see some dropouts because people are not traveling as they usually do. But yeah, for now we're just working hard with the new features. So yeah, I see some comments here. Lin, hello, nice to see you. And then at the end of this live show, I would be happy to answer any questions. So I will go over some of the things that we have added, but then at the end or during the show, if you have any specific questions regarding something, then just feel free to write that in the comments. All right, I'm going to share my screen now and then go over some of the things that we have added. So we had a lot of requests from organizers regarding how to seed your brackets. So if you're not familiar with the terminology, seeding means the way that you place your fighters. And the way Smoothcomp has had support for previously is that we create the brackets and then you can reorder your seed if you see that, okay, these two fighters they should fight in the first fight or something. But now we actually have support for something that we call assign the rank before you create the bracket. So I'm going to show you how that works. A scenario would be if you have a national ranking. So you have your 4 top players and you don't want them to fight each other until the finals or the semifinals. But then the way when you do your brackets, it's live and there's a lot of people watching. Maybe you're showing it on a big screen or something. Then it's very useful if you can have made your ranking, your seeding before you actually create the brackets. And this is to avoid anyone from saying that you are cheating when you're creating brackets. So what we've done is that we have reordered some stuff here. So if you're an organizer, you are familiar with this administration link. This is where you access the brackets or your menus. And what we've done is we created a whole new section for brackets. So if you go to admin and then you scroll in this list, you're going to see a new menu called brackets. And here you can publish your brackets. This setting is also available under settings as before. So here is the publish bracket setting as it was before, but it's also available here now under brackets. So once you are ready with your brackets, then you should of course publish them so that fighters can see them in their accounts and people can visit your event to see them. So make sure to publish your brackets. All right, so the way that the seeding works in Smoothcomp by default, without you doing nothing is that we are separating athletes by affiliation first, and then academy. So the affiliation is the academy is the local place where people train, and then the affiliation is another layer where an academy can be connected to a affiliation or a team. Not all combat sport uses this, so if you don't, then you would just have your ranking by academy, so that not two fighters from the same academy end up fighting each other in the first fight. That would be dumb. You should, of course, try to have them separated. But some people want that, but it's very flexible. So by default, we're separating by affiliation. But what we've done now is that we build support for you to actually control this. So you can actually decide if Smoothcomp should seed by affiliation and then academy, or affiliation, then academy, and then nations. Or start by separating the nations first, then affiliation, and then academy. So as you can see, it's very flexible now, and we're given the control to you, the organizer, to control this. And this is for the single and double elimination brackets. So as it says here, seed options are for single and double elimination for now. This is the first part of this new update, and we will add more functionality to the seed options later. Once if you want to create your brackets like this, then make sure to have the seeding option that you're going to use, and then you save. And if I go over to registrations now, where I create my brackets, you can see that it looks like it did before. You have the name, the birth, the academy, and everything. And then I would go ahead and create my brackets like this. If I wanted to, I could rank my players here. But then I need to activate this feature first. So if I go back to the same page here, then there's an option here that says seed by rank. And if I click this, it will activate the ranking positions in registrations. And I will read here. It says, this option allows you to assign ranking numbers in the registration list. Those ranking numbers will later be taken into account when creating the seed. So once I activated this and then I save, now it's activated. Now I actually have only 3 options here. I can now decide if the ranking, the brackets should be try to eliminate fighters from the same academy or the nation or the affiliation to meet in the first place. So once I activated seed by rank, as you can see, I have less options here. For me, this works good if I have academies separated. So I would choose that, and then I'll save again. All right, so now when I visit registration pages, you'll see that we have these little drop downs here. And here I can rank my fighters. So if Arnold Butler, he's the top ranked juvenile boys in the white belt division in his country. So he's ranked number 1. So then I'll put him as number 1. And then Benny, he's ranked at number 2. So then I'll put him as 2. And then Santiago and Saul. So I have my ranking here. And these 4 players, they will be separated now. So they will not fight each other until the semis or the finals. And I could go ahead and change this. But when I create my brackets, this is what it's going to use. And then I'll create my brackets, my bracket for this one. Single elimination, bronze match. I put them on mat 1. And as you can see here, the separate the seed by academy that I picked before is also reflected here. So if I made a mistake, I can actually change this here. But I want the bracket to separate them by academy, so not so they don't fight each other in the first fight. And then I'll do the normal adjustments here for my bracket, and then I'll create bracket. and then it's created. And then if I go and to visit this bracket, you'll see it here, and you can't really see much now because this is also the view that the public sees. Adrian Diasiera, that was hard to pronounce, but hi man, nice to see you. Join in. I see a lot of people are watching now, so I'm getting a little bit nervous. No, I'm fine. And then, so this is the view that everybody sees, but we know that we have created these seeds. So if I click edit here, you can actually see up here that the seeding is done by Academy. And we put a small label for Arnold that says S1. And then there's a small number here, 1. And then S2 was Benny. So he's not fighting Arnold until the final. They cannot meet until the final. And then Santiago was ranked 3rd, and then Saul was 4th. So now, since I did this, the seeding is already done, and it put the fighters where they should be. But I can also readjust this. So if I move Saul, for instance, down to the lower half of this, and I actually changed his placement with Santiago. So now I changed the seed that I did. And if I click Save Manual Seed here, you will see here, up here where it says Seeding by Academy, which was an automatic seed, this will change. So clicking Save Manual, and now it says Seeding by Manual Seed because I seeded manually. If I click Automatic Redraw, it will go back to the seeding that I did, like rank them 1, 2, 3, 4. So just going to click Automatic Redraw here. And now you can see it says Seeding by Academy again. And then Arnold is not fighting Benny until the final. And then we're back as where we started. So we think it's very flexible. You can do this for your maybe your black belts, and maybe you have some of your our customers are using our federation platform. And actually, what we're going to add in the next phase is the possibility to have this list that I just worked with. Have this list connected to your federation ranking. So let's say you're using our federation platform, the premium version, which can you can create rankings from all over the world, like all your events, and then you can say this list for juvenile boys should look towards this ranking list and adjust for that. So then you don't even have to do this part where you put 1, 2, 3, 4. It will actually look to that list, and if Arnold is not ranked number 1 in that list, he would not be, he would automatically get the same placement as he has in that list. So that is coming. We're not really there yet, but that is something that we have as a goal for this feature. Hi, Chrissy. Will the public, let me read that. Will the public see how it's bracketed, manual or seated? Yes, they will. So if I understand you correctly, Chrissy, you're asking, will the public see this? And then now I get a little bit confused because I'm not sure if we're displaying this to the public. I need to check that. I think that's the plan. I try to keep updated with everything we're doing, but we're a pretty big team by now, and we have a lot of developers, and we're working in different projects. So sometimes even I don't know everything. But I think that would be smart, right? So that people can see how we're actually seeding it. And also, what we're doing, I think we sent out an email to all your organizers a couple of days ago about we updated our knowledge base so that you can actually read about all our brackets and how they work. If you haven't seen it, go to support.smoothcomp.com and then look for our different brackets. I think it's called that. And then we go over all our different brackets. We have a lot of different ones, and it sometimes can be hard to understand how they work. So you can see that. And the plan is that we're going to display this information so that everybody can see what type of bracket is used. So if a fighter goes to his bracket on tournament day, to understand what kind of bracket is this? Is it a single elimination bracket or double elimination, or how am I going to proceed in this bracket? We will actually show this, and there will be a link to that knowledge base article so that he can read up and, educate himself. Okay, it's a round robin. Oh, okay, I'm going to fight everybody. So that's the plan. That's the plan we're gonna stick to. So that's coming. So this is the first phase. All right. Next one. If there or you have any more questions regarding this, let me know about how the ranking works. So let me know. But basically, again, I set the rank here, and then I'll let the system handle the placement of the fighters in the bracket. Chrissy, nice. I'll have a look. Thank you. All right, great. Next one that we added is a way for you to set a max capacity in your event. So this has been requested for a while. And what it does is it will cap your registrations. So let's say that when running events, you have a limit of 300 fighters. So under settings and registration periods, we have a new setting here. It's called max registrations. So max capacity of registration for this event is now 300. So if I save that, then as soon as you reach 300, the registration will close, and it will say this event has reached maximum capacity. But there's also another thing that we added, and that is you can actually override this if you want, or you can actually also go to one of the specific entries. So let's say I'll go to the entry for men here. And then under settings and pricing, I can set a max capacity of 50 registration for this entry. That means that only 50 fighters can register for men for that entry. So that's also a way you have 300 as a max capacity, but then you only allow 50 of those 300 to be men. You can set that here. There's also another setting where you can limit the number of registrations for a division. So a division would be men, black belts, minus 94 kilos, under 30. Let's say that's one of your divisions. If you say that you set a max capacity of 10, only 10 can, for that combination, for that division that I just said, can register. So now it's very easy for you to have a max capacity, but also limit each entry and even the classes or the divisions. And there's another setting here that says, allow this entry to exceed the total event capacity. So since I set the max capacity to 300, the system now wants to know, but do you want to allow these new settings to exceed the total event capacity? Well, I'm okay with that, so I'll check that box as well. And then I go down at the bottom, and then I make sure to save. So now I set this up for the total event, and then also I maxed out the capacity for each entry and the divisions. Great, right? This has been something that we had requests for a long time, and now we've done it. So our developers is actually in a sprint that's called Clean the Desk. Working with software like this, it's it's a constant priority battle. We need to prioritize. We have big customers coming in with bigger requests, and then we have those small things that we really want to do it, but there's just no time for it. But we decided now to have a period where we're just going to do all these small things that we want to do. I got a question here from SAP. Is the max capacity for divisions for all divisions, or can we set it for individual divisions? It would be for all divisions. So if you set a max capacity of 10 registrations for divisions, that will include all of them. If you want to have an individual setting, I suggest that you lift out that, let's say, male black belts or female black belts. Create an entry for that instead of having it as a inside of an entry. So instead of having black belts here, I would remove the black belts, create a new entry for male black belts, and then I can set individual limits for that entry instead. I hope I made that clear. If you have questions that I can't really answer now, just send us an email, support@smoothcomp.com, and we'll help you from there, from email. But yeah, that's how it works. What we did also for the schedule, I don't know if you have used this, but we have support for pauses in the schedule. So when I'm working with all the different brackets here, I can click Edit Schedule, and then I can add a pause. And before, let's say lunch. That's a good pause. Before, you had to add it to mat number 1 first, and then you say, okay, the pause should have a duration of 30 minutes. But then you had to redo that for the other mats that also had a pause. But now we added support for adding all of them like this. So now I'll input a pause for lunch across all mats, all 8 mats. It's going to be for 30 minutes. And then I'll add this pause. And then I save. And now you're going to see at the end of each mat, there's a lunch pause here. I hope you can see it. It's down here. Oops. Lunch. And then I might want to have it actually around noon, where the lunch usually takes place. So I'll look at my divisions, and the time that you see here, for this one it says 12:36. That's the time where this division is projected to start. So the time you see for each division is the time where the first fight of that bracket is about to start. So I would drag my pause up here. So it actually, this pause would start 12:36. And then this one, I would actually keep it where it is. So if I want to have my pause around 12:36, I would make sure to drag the pause and then look at the divisions that I have, and then try to match that to where it says 12:36 or around 12:30. So now if I save again, you see that now this lunch break is actually, it became 12:48. That's when the lunch break will start, and it will take 30 minutes. So the next division won't start until 1:18 p.m. So that's 30 minutes after 12:48. So just a small update for how to add pauses across all mats at the same time. All right, moving on. We added some more stuff in registrations. So this is kind of the center of the whole platform. This is where all the registrations come in. If I go to, let me see if I can find that. At the top here, there's a filter, and then I have a button called Advanced Options. Some organizers, when they run events, they have something called an open weight. So you fight in your normal division, but then you can also fight in the open weight. And sometimes they only allow the medal players to fight there. So then I can search for find participants with placements, and then I'll put 1 to 3. And then you can see here, it says 3, 2, and 1. And this is a division that is already completed. And the 1 and 2 and 3 are the actual placements. Let me see if I can find a big one. Bummer. All right, doesn't matter. So I'll just use this one. So 3, 2, and 1. So what we added is a small sorting functionality here at the top. So if I click sort for placement, it will sort everything from 1, 2, and 3. So in a big division with like maybe 50 players, then now I understand why I didn't get that. Sorry, I will remove here. So many things to learn in this software. So okay, so here we go. So now I can search for filter for placement here. So I'll click placement, and as you can see now, it's showing me 1, 2, and 3. Actually, this was strange. 1, 2, 2, 4. Never mind. You understand what I'm getting. You can sort in registrations and have the placement 1, 2, and 3, 4 in that order, which makes it a lot easier when you're gonna copy these players to an open division. I hope that makes sense. It's Friday and I have the coronavirus, some of it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. But I hope I get my point across. You can actually sort for placements. Yeah, that's it. There's also a feature where you can use the same functionality, but then you can sort by the weigh-in value. So let me see here. I'm gonna filter for men. And then let's take this one. Men, white, adult. So if you have set this up, and we've talked about this before, we have something called numeric weights. So numeric weights makes the system much smarter when it comes to understanding what you're actually inputting the value. If you don't activate it, anything you input will just be referred to as text. So it doesn't understand if somebody's supposed to be under 64 kilos and then you write 100, it will just say 100, but Smoothcomp doesn't do anything with that information. So it will just be a text string. But I have activated numeric weights, and I can show you later where I do that. But once I click the weigh-in icon here, now it's messing with me. Hold on. This is live, so anything can happen. No, doesn't want to do that for me. Okay. I'll show instead where I set this up. So entries, and then I go over to men, and then here at the weight where I set up all my weights for the men entry, there's a setting here that says normal class or weight class. And if you activate weight class, and you can switch between kilos and pounds here, when you activate weight class and then you click one of the values here, you can input the 2 value. So in this weight class, an athlete cannot be heavier than 57.5 kilos. For 64, you can either have this part empty, or it can go from 57.5 until 64. So there's a weight limit here. And if you do this for all your weights, once you go back to registrations, and then you click the weigh-in, and I don't know why it's not working, but it should. Then the the modal, the small window that opens up, when you input something, it will actually understand if it's somebody is too heavy or actually even below the limit, and then you can take action on this and move the fighters. So I don't know why it's not working right now, but it works. Just click the weigh in icon and you will be able to weigh your fighters in from this view. That's some of the things that I wanted to show you. Do you have any specific questions for me now? Then please have them, write them in the comments, and I will try to go over that if you have something that you're wondering about in our platform. We are currently working a lot with our streaming solution. The streaming solution is free to use. You can stream to your own YouTube channel or to Smoothcomp's YouTube channel. All you need is iPad or an iPhone, and then our desktop application. I wanted to be able to show you kind of a small preview of, because we're so close now to leaving our beta, and we have some really exciting stuff coming. But the developers are working really hard right now with that, so I couldn't get it to our demo for this demonstration. But for the next one, for the next Smoothcomps Studio, I'll definitely show you what's going on with the streaming solution. But it's gonna be awesome, and it's free. It's totally free. We don't charge for it. So, all right, I got some questions here from Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Nice to see you. I'm glad you could join in. Jeff has his first event in a week, so working really hard now. Can we make the bottom of a weight class 0? Yeah, sure. You can set it to 0, and then just leave it blank. Sure, no problem. A higher class than Rooster. Not sure if I understand what you mean, but it's very flexible, so you can add in any weight you want. So it's not predetermined. You as an organizer, you can set up any weights or any divisions that you want. So Jeff is saying that way, if an athlete is under, it will allow them to compete without making changes. Correct. Yeah. Correct. So that's some organizers like to have like the weight limits, the lower limit and the upper limit. And if a kid comes in and he is way below the actual range of his weight class, you don't want a kid to fight with too heavy opponents. So the in my events, I actually I educate the people at the weigh-in to, if the kid is too light, you should try to move him down instead. So that's why the lower limit is good to use. Can weight divisions be set to US customary units like pounds? Yeah, sure. So if you go to entries here, SAP, I'm gonna use men again. So this where it says 57.5 kilos, this is just actually a text string. So you would just do like this, pounds instead, and then save. So what the fighter and the athlete see when they register is going to be pounds, and then you just change this to pounds. So so it's very flexible. You can set it up with pounds or with kilos. I hope I answered the question. The entry system is very flexible. You can set it up as you like. You can create rules. So for an adult division, somebody that wants to register for this should be 18 years old, but not more than 30. So then I would add a rule that says 18 to 30 maybe. 130. And then here in the rules part, where it says user, that means that Smoothcomp is looking towards the user profile. So what the person that is registering has as in his profile. So user, age, and then we have two settings for this: year only or on event start day. If you pick year only, they can be 18 during the whole year. And then I would add greater or equal with 18. and then another row, user, year only, less or equal with 30. So by doing this, I will eliminate people from choosing the wrong age class, or I could have a gender rule as well. So this is a division for men. So I suggest adding a gender rule here. So I will go like this. User, gender is male. So now only men can register for this one. And then I'll do the same for the females. So adult, add rule, 18 to 30. Do the same thing, but then add gender and says is female. So by doing this, you'll avoid a lot of people registering for the wrong division. All right. Any more questions? Let me know. All right. If you want to start using our streaming, we're still in the last phase of the beta, so you need to contact us. Actually, I'm going to show you like a sneak peek. You're going to have a menu here where it says live streams. So this is not live yet, but it will be soon, and this is how it looks. So I will be able to connect my YouTube account to my organizer in Smoothcomp. And then once that connection is made, I can actually set up my streams on YouTube for the mats that I'm going to stream from. So it could look like this. So once I click create, we built an API towards YouTube. So now by doing this and I click create, I will create the streams automatically. And then you can just go ahead and stream. So that's the plan. You will be able to set up everything without contacting us. And then for the next one, I'll show you what's coming, but it's going to be so good with the integration of the streams with the system. So more on that for the next one. All right. If there's no more questions, then I will try to wrap this up. Thank you very much for listening. The focus was to show you the new seating options. So if you want to use that, go ahead. It's already live. You can rank your fighters before you create the brackets. We had a request from Olympic federations where it's very important that the ranking is public, the seating is public, so that everybody sees exactly what's happening. So that's why we built this. And it was something that we had on our roadmap, but now it was time to do it. Thank you, Chrissy. Glad you can join in all the way from New Zealand. And thank you for your support. Really appreciate it. And then, I'll see you for the next Smoothcomps Studio. And then we're also preparing a bigger webinar where I'll have my partners, Martin to join me. We're going to have a webinar when it's time to launch the streaming solution. So stay tuned for our next webinar Wednesday. Usually we do webinar Wednesdays on Wednesdays, and then Smoothcomps Studio is usually on Fridays like this. All right. Thank you very much for listening. And I'll see you soon. Bye.